For most people, semicolons are big, obscure punctuation marks that must be avoided like the plague. But this is simply because most people don't know how or when to use semicolons, other than for emoticons. By the end of this video, you should be able to know why and how semicolons are used, because they're not the scary, unfathomable things that we make them out to be. In fact, they're actually quite simple. So, the big question is, why do we need semicolons? Surely we can get by using commas and full stops without ever having to think about these ugly pieces of punctuation. Well, the purpose of semicolons is actually quite simple. Basically, a semicolon is used to connect two independent clauses together. For example, for the sentence, "The milkman went by my house today, he had nose hair as long as fingers," the semicolon is used to link two sentences that would otherwise be separated by a comma. So if we were to separate the first half of the sentence from the second half of the sentence, it would still make sense on its own. The milkman went by my house today. As for the second half of the sentence, if we separated it from the first half, it would still make sense on its own as well. He had nose hair as long as fingers. So, now that we know how to use semicolons, let's now take a look at when we should use them. Generally, semicolons are used as a link between two sentences that are related, meaning that the idea presented in the first sentence is related to that in the second sentence. For example, take the sentence, "Dad doesn't approve of Grandma riding her motorcycle. However, Grandma doesn't care what Dad thinks." So in this example, the two sentences are connected by what Dad thinks of the Grandma's motorcycling and what she thinks in return. However, if we add the sentence, "Dad slashed the wheels of Grandma's motorbike," also, Dad likes to pat kittens on the weekends, these two sentences do not need to be connected by a semicolon, because what Dad did to the Grandma's motorbike has nothing to do with him patting kittens on the weekend. Another use of semicolons is to connect sentences that contain internal punctuation. For example, take the sentence, "When my husband gets scared of the dark, he turns on his nightlight. I can never sleep with the light on." If a full stop was used in the place of the semicolon, then the connection between the husband's habit of sleeping with the light on and his wife's lack of sleep would be lost. If a comma was used instead, then this would have resulted in a comma splice, meaning that the ideas presented in the two sentences would not be as well as connected as they would have been with a semicolon. Finally, a semicolon can be used as a supercomma to make a list of items that are separated with a comma, usually location, names, dates, and descriptions. For example, take the sentence, "Donald Trump's policies include immigration, to build a wall on the Mexican border, environment, to cut the Environmental Protection Agency, and values, to make America great again." Here, the use of semicolons enables the list to describe three of Donald Trump's policies, immigration, environment, and values, in a single sentence. So, in summary, semicolons are used as a link between two independent clauses. They can form a bond between two clauses that are closely related, connect sentences that contain internal punctuation, and act as a supercomma to make a list of items. Hopefully now semicolons don't seem so perplexing and daunting as they once did, and you have a much greater understanding of how and when to use them.